Hi, welcome to today's video. Today we're going through my February TBR. This month I hope to read 5 books. I have been wanting more books in my TBR, but they're all pretty large, so we're just kinda gonna stick to the 5. The first one is one of my most anticipated books of the year. It's not actually out yet, so I can't hold it up, but it is Chain of Thorns by Cassandra Clare. I am so excited for this book. It comes out on the 31st of January. I'm so excited. I didn't care that much about the Last Hours series when I first read it, but towards the end of last year I reread Chain of Gold and Chain of Iron and completely fell in love. I honestly think that The Last Hours is maybe my second favourite of the Cassandra Clare series. I don't think anything will beat The Dark Artifices for me, but The Last Hours does come really close. I'm absolutely terrified of going on social media at the moment because apparently some people got early copies and there are spoilers going around, and after reading the chapter titles on Cassandra Clare's Instagram, I am very nervous because it seems like someone's gonna die, and I did look at the family trees to try and work out who, and I am terrified. When I say I'm excited about this book, I mean I've shifted around an entire week of my life so that I can read it as soon as I can. I mentioned that it comes out on the 31st. My birthday is the 1st of February, so I have told people that I'm not doing anything for my birthday on the day because I want to be reading this book. I am so beyond excited to read this book and absolutely terrified. But assuming I survive reading Chain of Thorns, the next book I'd like to read is A Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne Collins. I can't believe I haven't read this yet. I was obsessed with The Hunger Games. It was the first series that I read that really got me into reading. It was my first fandom. I've briefly mentioned this in the past, but the second that a prequel was announced, I was so excited. But I think the fact that it's about snow is what has made me a bit hesitant. In my ideal world, a Hunger Games prequel would be a novella bind-up similar to Cassandra Clare's Ghosts of the Shadow Market, Tales from Shadowhunter Academy, etc. About previous games following the victors that we meet in Catching Fire. I want Haymitch, I want Finnick, I want Annie, I want Mags, I want basically everyone ever from District 4. But I am still really excited about this. I have been spoiled, I know what happens, but I think actually reading it and experiencing it for myself would be good. I did start it once. I got like a few pages in, but I put it down and never picked it back up. That's something I do really often. But I am so excited about reading this book. I am kind of back in my Hunger Games phase at the moment. I reread the books last year and honestly want to reread them again now, but I'm trying not to reread so much this year. But I've been watching the movies over and over again. I rewatched them a few weeks ago and have rewatched them like 3 times since. It's a problem, but I love them so much. But yes, I'm very excited to finally get to this book. The next book I'd like to read is one that I started years ago, right after it came out, and then I put it down and never picked it back up. And that is Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I know I'm gonna like this book, and I think that's part of the problem. I started it, I got maybe about a quarter way through, and then I just put it down. I think because the show's coming out, I desperately want to read this, but also I did just read The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, and it was one of those books that absolutely like shifted my reality. I feel like a different person than I was before I read it, and so I really want to finish this book. Also, I think just like the vibes, I feel like there is a bit of a resurgence of like 70s band kind of vibe, so I feel like it's the perfect time. The last 2 books that I'd like to read this month I'm going to share together because one of them is a sequel, but that is Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom. I think February is the month where I'm finally going to read these books. I have wanted to read Six of Crows since before it was published. I remember entering a giveaway, which I won, but I didn't win Six of Crows. I won a different book that I also haven't read. but I remember hearing about it and being super excited. I remember seeing the cover and being quite drawn in, and I just haven't read it. I read the Shadow and Bone series a few years ago now and loved it. And I don't know why I just haven't read these. I picked them up at a con actually a few years ago. Wow, it's probably been 2 years now. I think part of the problem is that I know this is the kind of series that's going to ruin me, and so I'm trying to not let that happen, but it's gonna happen, and I'm so desperate to read these. I have friends who adore these books and the characters, and so I think it's time for my life to be ruined. I also haven't watched the show because I don't want anything to be spoiled. I've heard that it follows a different story than the books, but I want to meet the characters for the first time in their kind of intended form, so I really want to read these books. They've been on so many of my previous TBRs, but February has to be the month that I read them. I can't keep putting it off. So that's all I plan on reading. It doesn't look like a lot, but they are quite thick. And then when you add like Chain of Thorns, that's a pretty thick one as well. So that is a lot of book. There are a few other books that were almost like runners up for this TBR, but I'm not going to mention them because I really want to stick to this set of books. I'm trying to get into more of a routine with reading. I really wish I could like go to bed at a reasonable time and like read for an hour or something like that, but lately that just hasn't been happening. But yes, those are the books I'd like to read this month. I'm so excited. All I can think about lately is Chain of Thorns, and I'm so desperate to read it. I'm hoping to do a reading vlog while I read it. I do think that Cassandra Clare's final books of series really like have a punch, and so I'm hoping it'll be a good one. Oh my, can you see her? That's all I've got for today. I'm so excited. I haven't been this excited about like reading for a long time, and so I'm feeling good. I'm hoping for the best. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, you can give it a thumbs up. You can subscribe to see my future videos, including that Chain of Thorns reading vlog. If you want to hear any of my particular thoughts on any of these books, let me know and I can do that. Let me know what you're planning on reading this month, and maybe I'll add it to my TBR next month. I hope you have a great February, and I'll see you next time. Bye.